Okay, Katie Nation, I'm really excited about this particular interview, only because I see you on TV all the time. And Loki had to tell my mom, I was like, Mom, guess who I'm interviewing? Tyler Henry. She's like, I know him, baby.
Oh my gosh.
Just from watching you. Now, first of all, I gotta say, everything that you do is so amazing, but I'm so curious about it. And you do have a show. This is why he's here, Katie Nation, because he has a show. You guys all need to grab your tickets really quick, AXS.com. Peacock Theater, April 12th, Friday, 8 p.m. But I wanted to really just dive into this and ask you, let's just jump into it. What inspired you to become a medium, and how did you first discover your psychic abilities?
Sure. Well, for me, this really started in April of 2006. I was 10 years old at
10.
the time. Yep. And I basically just woke up one night and had a premonition of my grandmother's death. I felt her passing before it occurred. And within moments, we received the news that she had made her transition. And from there, it really just evolved into these, moments of knowingness. Initially, it was something that I had very little control of. And then as time went on and demonstrating it with one-on-one readings and groups,
Right.
it's kind of allowed me to practice and kind of try to hone that ability.
How did your family and friends take it in when you shared that you had this gift for the first time?
Reactions were mixed. Some people were a little frightened. Some people found it very interesting and compelling. But it definitely always got a reaction.
Let me ask you, what's a typical day as a medium? Because I just could only imagine that there's just all this energy that you take in from just different people.
Absolutely. I find that so long as I work to some extent, I'm able to maintain some sense of normalcy when I'm not working. So during my day-to-day, I'm doing one-on-one readings. I have a fireside meeting that we make with people virtually every month, and we connect with people and do one-on-one readings. So I'm able to do connections through that, and it's never ending. And of course, a live tour. So I stay busy.
Has there ever been a reading though that you just didn't want to do? You're like, oh, I just feel this energy. No, I don't want to do it.
There have absolutely been times where it's been rough, particularly when it comes to people's personal lives. And with celebrities, oftentimes they're very sensitive. You have to be kind of careful what you say outwardly. So
is there a difference in reading a celebrity as opposed just to like an everyday person?
Yeah, I think everyday folks are a lot easier to read. There's a lot less defensiveness when it comes to having information out about them and divulging and being vulnerable. But there's really something also very humanizing about reading celebrities too. It really shows that everybody, no matter who we are or what we go through, everybody goes through grief and is really looking for that resolution.
What advice do you have for individuals who are grieving the loss of a loved one and they're trying to seek closure through spiritual connections?
Sure. I would view grief not as something to be closed, but something that is ongoing. I think that it's an opportunity ultimately to honor the legacy of the person that passed through your actions, through your life. And in doing so, kind of give a second life to what they meant, what they represented. I think so often when we lose someone, it's easy to think of them and equate them with that moment of passing. And when they've came through, if they've taught me anything, it's that they are so much more than how they died. And we owe it to them to remember them.
Right, absolutely. But, you had the show, a Hollywood Medium with Tyler Henry. How do you balance the entertainment part, because it's still a show?
Yes.
You know what I mean? You still got production, you still got people working on it, and balance the entertainment part and I guess being sensitive, and giving them that information, because at the end of the day, you're still doing a show.
That's right. And, there was a lot of pressure. There were times where things really wouldn't come through that strongly, and everyone would be like, well, that was what it was. You can't guarantee it. You can't make it happen, as it is real. And so as, we would do over 200 celebrity clients, as far as readings, we were able to really make some really cool connections.
Right. No, I saw you on TV.
It was intense, though.
Really? No, yeah, because sometimes, too, like, I would see you and you would scribble, and then you would sweat a little bit.
Oh, yes.
And so those are like
those are indicators that stuff's starting to come through. So I found that, when I would sweat, that just usually seemed to indicate that something internal was going on and kind of process. And then that's when the magic starts happening.
Can I ask you, when you walk into somebody's home, is it a little nerve-wracking? Because some people believe that, you travel with energy and you can also pick up energy. Is there been a time when you're like, I can't even walk in, it's just too dark?
For the most part, I feel very protected. I kind of delve into those realms as far as doing readings every day. And so I'm pretty comfortable with the other side. I'm big on prayer. I'm big on meditation. And I think that so long as you have good intentions, that really helps eliminate a lot of negative things.
What's the main message from those who have passed on? What's always like is there just one main message that they always just kind of want to deliver?
I would say just universally, they encourage us to live a life that prevents future regret. So live to the utmost of our ability. Be the most of who you are. Be the most of who you can be. We are all here to create, and none of us know how long we are going to be here. But make use of the time that you have and give it meaning. People are desperate for purpose.
Yes.
Live purposefully. That's the purpose.
How do you deal with skeptics and non-believers?
I think that every day we make them believers.
Yeah, right. Has there been somebody that's like sitting in front of you? They're like, "Look, Tyler,
Yeah.
I don't believe none of this shit." Right?
There are people who definitely have challenged me. I've sat across from Boy George, if people remember, on season 1 of Hollywood Medium.
Yes.
And thankfully his manager came in and kind of helped verify some things. But generally, as long as someone shows basic respect, regardless.
And
of
Khloe
beliefs.
Kardashian.
Oh, she's my close friend.
Oh,
She's-
man.
if anything, I think Kim was more stoic.
Yes.
But stoic isn't a bad thing, and if anything, I think it allows for someone to get a clear connection. My least favorite thing is when people are super expressive or super emotive, because it can be distracting. So sometimes reading a skeptic is a little bit easier. Reading someone who's a little stone-faced allows me to just kind of get in the zone, ignore them, and then just kind of
I would have never guessed that. I thought it would be a little harder.
No.
No, and so then let me go on to my next question because I think I've answered it. Who was your favorite celebrity reading? Was it Khloe Kardashian?
Well, Chloe would probably be one of my favorites. She and I have stayed in touch since then. Also, Paris Hilton was one of my favorites as well.
No way.
And just because she surprised me, she was amazing in the sense that she was so clearly able to use her intuition and talked about how being a trendsetter really related to being intuitive. She kind of was able to see ahead of the curve and really set a lot of trends in pop culture.
What's the weirdest reading you've ever had? Without giving us a name, we wouldn't want to do that, but the weirdest reading.
Oh, they're all so strange. I did a reading once where a parrot interrupted it from the other room. It was like cussing like a sailor, and I thought it was a person, and then the person I'm reading, because we were in her house, started cussing back at the parrot.
Shut up! Are you
And then
serious?
the person coming through, who was departed, had taught the parrot how to cuss. So I was like, is this man coming through to the parrot and cussing my client out? And it was just a complete domestic mess from the other side.
Oh my God.
And it was like there were multiple species involved. It was really...
I would have been laughing my ass off. I really would have.
full
How do you protect your energy though? What do you do to protect Tyler? Like I know you are a blessing for other people, but you have to protect Tyler.
I would say viewing time as one of the most valuable currencies we have. People spend money, but they oftentimes aren't really assessing how much time they spend and what they're dedicating their time to. So a careful assessment of that and acting accordingly has allowed me to kind of be sacred around my time.
Is it easier though sometimes, like let's say vacationing with your family or friends, maybe being out by yourself, hiking, maybe that's where the peace is at because you just don't have so much distraction?
Absolutely. I think it's true for all of us.
I mean, I'm just taking a guess here.
Yes, for sure, being in nature, even people who aren't spiritual can say that being in nature brings out something in us. When we look up at the stars, there's a sense of wonder that we feel, and I encourage people to go with those feelings.
So have you ever had a reading that was so scary that made you not want to pursue this any longer? And you're like, I'm out of here.
I did a reading for Kenya Moore, and this was at a diaper baby, I should call them, not technically a diaper store, but a baby store. And she was pregnant at the time, and there was a diaper bag sitting behind her, and it flew off the shelf as we were connecting with a loved one. And it looked almost like a string was attached to it. It just flew. And I was sitting there, and we just kind of looked at each other, and nobody knew what to do. And it actually didn't help my cause. She kind of was a little bit more stoic after that. I think it kind of startled everyone a little bit, and it was kind of unnerving. But I found it to be very comforting. It was a validation as she was pregnant, and then it was a diaper bag, and we were connecting to a loved one. What more validation?
That
do you
is
need,
so crazy. That's crazy. Let me ask you, I'm just asking you questions that I'm curious about. You have this ability. Does anybody in your family have it, or is it just you?
Just me.
Are you nervous if you have kids, you might pass it on?
If I have babies...
I would think that would probably happen.
If I have babies, then I no longer am baby. And I'm an only child. And my mother's right there. And I'm almost 30 years old. So we're really not adding on. This is not a multi-generational family business.
Mom's like, oh, man.
No, you're spoon feeding me later, lady.
Listen. listen, you got this show. We are so excited about it. You guys have to go. Peacock Theater, it's going down this Friday, AXS.com. What can they expect walking into the Peacock Theater this Friday?
You know what? It's a multifaceted show. I explain a little bit about what brings me there, a little bit about myself, and then we delve right into the readings. And I think it's really a beautiful experience to be able to see how shared coincidence can really have an impact on people's lives. People will find that regardless of who gets read, there's something for everybody in everyone's reading. And the moments of validation, knowing things that are not known publicly, inside jokes, family dynamics, recent conversations, to watch that happen live and in person really is compelling. And I hope people get to get something out of it.
Yes, come through Friday, Peacock Theater, AXS.com. Grab your tickets. Does it get tiring sometimes? Like, let's say you're hanging out with family and friends. They're like, Tyler, you're like, not today. Not today. Tyler's off the clock today.
You know what? And that's one of the beautiful things about the people that are in my life is that they treat me as Tyler the person and not so much Tyler the medium. And, I am both. But it's nice to be able to have people that view me for more than what I can do.
I think what I love when I love watching you on TV is you just have this beautiful spirit, this positive energy when you walk in. And I'm like, how could anybody be skeptical when you walk in? You're just so warm and you're nice. And you're like, hey, it's just like a friend walking in. I'm here to help you.
Thank you. That means a lot. I really hope that my intentions shine through. And I think that, there's something for everyone. There's something to be said about skepticism. I value it. I think it's important to be a critical thinker. But equally, sometimes the personal experience shows that there's something more. And that's what we hope to demonstrate through readings.
So many people you've worked with, off the top, it doesn't have to be a celebrity. Somebody that just really hits you here. And you're like, man, I'm glad I got to help them. Mm-hmm. Who was that?
I would say Little John was one of my favorites.
Really?
And I'm not just saying that because of considering
right.
93.5.
There it is right there, yes. And he's one of our favorite artists here.
Yes, but he really, that was an impactful reading because we were able to connect and to be able to bring through such loss, such tragic situations that this person had gone through, to be able to kind of see the person behind the performer. There's something about that that's very powerful. And you can almost, I think, see what informs a person's music and their passion when you can see their pain and recognize the strength that's required to show that vulnerability. And he did that on the show. And it led to some very evidential moments. He was able to find some closure with some parent figures in his life who died. And it was something he never thought he'd get. And he did because of his openness.
And I think it's just always amazed that, with people that pass on, we just have so many questions. And I think it's just natural for us. We don't really know what happens on the other side. Do you? Because you you see them and you sense them. Like, do you know what happens on the other side?
There are so many limitations. I definitely only seem to get a little peek as far as in readings. But what it seems to reflect is that passing away causes us to go through an introspective process where we really get an understanding of our ripple effect in our life. And we see what our life meant to others, whether we knew it or not. And that understanding lends us acceptance over how things went ultimately. And that acceptance seems to lead to peace.
Now, you first discovered your ability when your grandmother passed away. Has she come to you from time to time?
She has. She has actually. Very seldom, though. A lot less than people would expect. And I find that quite comforting. I think it's indicative that she, wherever she is in a state of peace and doesn't feel the need to come through.
Oh, my goodness. But growing up, did it scare you or no? You just...
what was frightening was other people saying it was strange or weird or, reacting. I would say things sometimes to kids. I told a kid once, oh, you and your grandpa, did you have a peanut butter and pickle sandwich? And he about pooped his pants because indeed he did. He had shared that with his grandfather and it was like a joke that they had. And so people's kind of personal conversations would come up and it got a lot of different reactions.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Well, listen, it has been a pleasure just having you here. Everybody was so excited just because we see you, on TV all the time. And I just can't wait for this show this Friday. Make sure you guys go. I'm encouraging everybody to go. Do you pick people from the audience? Because I really want my viewers to know.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Okay. I go where I'm pulled, whether you're in the front row, back row. It's equal opportunity. You never know what's going to come through.
Are you pulled in this room right now?
You know what? I'm pulled to this microphone, girl. I love it.
That part, yes. That means he loves the show here at K-Day. And you know what? We're going to close out this interview by playing some Lil Jon just for you.
Thank you.
There it is right there. Snap your fingers. Let's go. Come on.